So for today's second video, just a quick recap. So we started with present simple, and now this is present simple part 2. I apologize for the poor quality of the video, but I think the point is to get messages across and not to do high-tech Hollywood movies. So just a quick recap. So we said the rule was to take the person and take the root. Se pravi oseba in koren, which means you get rid of the two and then you say, so to cook, I cook, to breathe, I breathe, to love, I love, to forgive, I forgive, to wait, I wait. And in the third person singular for he, she, it, you add the s. So to wait, he waits, to say, he says, to believe, he believes, and so forth. This was also covered in more detail in the first video, and this is just a quick recap. Then the beautiful thing about present simple, because it's called present simple because it is simple, is that you can use any verb even if you've never heard it. These are 3 made-up words. They're nonsense words. To zat, to chwunk, and to grench. And they don't exist, they mean nothing, but if you see a word that does and you haven't seen it before, if you know the rule, you can build present simple with ease. So with to zat, what you would do, you would simply get rid of the two to get a root, and then you just add the first person. So I zat, he zats, I chwunk, he chwunks, I grench, he grenches, and that's all verbs that don't exist, but because you know the rule, you can form the present simple with any verb you come across. And this is all that I have said was for the affirmative, za trdilno obliko, and I should make this E a little bit nicer. So affirmative. And then moving on to the interrogative form. So if you're asking a question, if you want to know if this is going on, če se to sploh dogaja, če se to sploh vrši, glagol, ki je v središču, tvoriš vprašalnice s pomožnim glagolom do, oziroma ko je tretja oseba za he, she, it, does. Very simple, I know you know all this. This is just to get the bases really strong, so when we build things up or when things come more complex, that this is something so deep-rooted in you that you don't have to think about it, that it comes automatic. And things come automatic when we know the rules and when we impress them into our minds. That become part of our nature. So, I cook, do I cook. He cooks, does he cook. So you see the S that you have in third person singular is transmitted in the question form as well with the ES. Se pravi, ta S, ki je prisoten, v tretji osebi ednine, se prenese tudi v vprašalnico, sicer je to dano črko E, so does he cook. He cleans, does he clean. And this is important to remember that the S from the affirmative, okay, ta S iz trdilne oblike se pojavi samo v vprašalnici, and there is no S here in the question form, in the interrogative form, okay? So, he cooks, does he cook? Ta S se prenese v vprašalno besedo, zato se ne pojavlja v glagolu. He thinks, does he think? I know this is something you know, but when you write or speak, you might make this mistake because you have this in your mind. Okay, so, he, she, it. So this is just why I'm really pointing this out. And in the next few days, just try to build as many sentences as you can with this in your mind. Just play with it, practice it, to make sure it gets really stuck with you. And then this is simply asking, ali se to sploh dogaja. Če se sprašujemo po drugih stvarih, se pravi, ali nekdo to zna, zmore, oziroma will je že v prihodnost, to ni več del present simple, ampak the concept is the same. Vprašalna beseda je na začetku. Govoriva za present simple. Vprašalna beseda je na začetku, so ali ona sploh zna kukati, can she cook, ali bo kuhala, will she cook, and they are all, vse te vprašalnice so označene z rdečo, so that you see they are in the first place of the sentence, so na prvem delu povedi. Again, a quick recap. Vprašalnica, osebni zaimek oziroma oseba, can be can Mary cook, can Thomas read, and so forth. Or it doesn't have to be a name, it can be my mother, the chauffeur, and so on. And just with this, when it's does for third person, you add the es. So this is everything that I said before, just in a quick recap. Okay, and then moving on to negative form, so negation, zanikanje. You form this by simply inserting do not ali skrajšana oblika don't, oziroma za tretjo osebo ednine he, she, it. Okay, so for he, she or it, eno, drugo ali tretje, you add does not, or skrajšana shortened version doesn't. And you just take the present simple form of I cook and you add I do not cook, or I don't cook, or for he cooks, he does not cook. And again, the s is moved here, so there is no s verb finally. Okay? So now we looked at affirmative, interrogative and negative sentences. Prav pogledali smo si trdilne, vprašalne in nikalne povedi za present simple. And there's just one more thing. Like I said, jezik vedno teži k ekonomičnosti, k poenostavljanju, k skrajšanju, da so stvari čim bolj enostavne. In this case, if the root ends in a sibilant, se pravi, če se koren konča s sičnikom ali šumnikom v izgovoru, če beseda, ki jo izgovorimo, ta koren glagola, ki ga izgovorimo, zveni tako, da na koncu slišimo č, š, ž oziroma ž zelo redko, ali pa c, s, nek sičnik ali šumnik, potem v tretji osebi jednine pri zapisu in pri izgovoru dodamo ta e, se pravi, rekla sva tretja oseba jednine, dodaš s he drinks, he sings, he believes, he sleeps. But if the root ends with a sibilant, če se konča z sičnikom ali šumnikom, for example, twitch, hiss, sikati, kiss, poljubiti, reach, doseči, and so forth. I know there are many more, but this is just an example. So if a root ends with a sibilant, then you add es, ker je enostavno, if you take the rule that we said here and you try to apply it to these words, it's gonna just sound weird. So it's gonna be uncomfortable to say he twitches or he hiss, he reaches. It sounds funny and awkward and it's difficult to say. So what you do, because that's what people did to make their lives easier, you add the sound e. So you would say he twitches, he hisses, he kisses, he reaches, twitches, and so forth. And sometimes it sounds more like an S and sometimes it sounds more like a Z. But never mind, just go, if you realize, if you notice that the root is ending in a sibilant, just say it naturally and it will roll off your tongue. You will not find yourself saying twitches, I assure you. So just go with it and trust your knowledge, your pre-existing knowledge, your linguistic sense, and everything will be fine. So this is the first video of the promised several ones, but They will be up in a few hours or maybe days. So hope this is clear and wishing you all the best.